Hello students. Today we will start with our last physiographic division. We completed Himalaya, then Deccan Plateau. We completed Northern Plains, Coastal Plains. So this is our last topic of from the Indian geography perspective. So this is the last physiographic division. It is called as the islands. So if you see the map of India, we have a mainland India over here. We have mainland India. But here, if you see in the Bay of Bengal, we have a group of islands. It is called a group of islands is called as archipelago. The group of islands is called as archipelago. A group of islands is called as archipelago. Fine. So we have Andaman and Nicobar archipelago over here, and in the Arabian Sea, in the western direction, here we have small islands. They are called as Lecture-02 Islands. So today, Lecture-02 Islands, a million islands in the Hindi, the meaning is million islands. So we will see in detail about the Lecture-02 Islands and Andaman and Nicobar Islands. Now first, let us see the position of it. So, अगर हम देखेंगे the position of, so they are located. So this is Andaman Sea. Andaman Sea. This is the Bangladesh. Then here it is Myanmar. Here it's a mouth of Irrawaddy River, delta of Irrawaddy River. Then we have Coco Channel. So Coco Channel separates Myanmar with the Andaman and Nicobar Islands. So the northern extreme is Coco Channel and the south and southern extreme is called as Great Channel. And this is Sumatra. Sumatra Island of Indonesia. So, if you consider the boundary of Andaman and Nicobar, you will notice that first is Myanmar, then we have Coco Channel. So, Coco Channel separates Myanmar and Andaman and Nicobar Islands. And here, in the southern direction, we have Great Channel. So, Great Channel separates Andaman and Nicobar Islands and Indonesia. So, a question was asked in the year 2019 about the Great Channel, which of the nation will be closest from the Great Channel, and the options were Myanmar, Sri Lanka, Maldives and Indonesia. So the answer was Indonesia. So here we have Great Channel and Coco Channel. So and from the west and east, so to the east of Andaman and Nicobar Islands, we have Andaman Sea, and in the west direction, in the east we have Andaman and Nicobar, and in the west we have this Bay of Bengal. This is the position of the Andaman and Nicobar Islands. So this is the basic features of Andaman. This is a group of 572 islands. Then, but out of it, only 38 are inhabited. What does it mean? It means that in only 38 islands, people are actually living. Other islands are either volcanic islands, other extinct islands, or they are only forested. No, any population lives there. So only 38 are inhabited out of 572 islands. Then actually the Andaman and Nicobar are elevated portion of submarine mountains. So what does it mean? That actually it's like this. This is the coastal bed, seabed, and here we have Bay of Bengal and Andaman Sea. So actually these islands are the elevated portions of the submarine mountains. So this is a submarine mountain range over here, and they are actually the elevated portion of these mountains. Then some also consider it is a extension of, this is the extension of Arcanioma. There is a mountain range in Myanmar, it's known as Arcanioma. So some even consider it is a part of. Likewise, here we have Himalayan range. Fine, here is we have Purvanchal. So here there is a mountain range in Myanmar, Arcanioma. So that mountain range is present in the submarine form, and this Andaman and Nicobar Islands are the tip of that submarine mountains. Then not all islands are of submarine mountains. Some are volcanic in nature, some are volcanic, like barren islands, like Narcondam Islands. And about climate and about vegetation, the rainfall here, the climate is equatorial climate. So here we get convectional form of rainfall, and the vegetation thus formed is equatorial vegetation. So what does it mean by convectional rainfall? So convectional rainfall means the rainfall is present every day. In the afternoon there will be very high temperature, so the air will get heat up, and due to the presence of the abundance amount of seawater, the humidity is high. So in the evening, due to the cold days, the rainfall will come. So that is called as convectional rainfall, and we have equatorial type of vegetation in the Andaman and Nicobar Islands. Now we will see in detail each island and its unique feature. So this is the diagram of one of the islands of the Andaman and Nicobar. We will see each island in detail. So from north, we have this is what? This is Coco Channel. This is Coco Channel. Then we have over here Coco Islands. Then here major we have North Andaman, we have Middle Andaman, we have small South Andaman, and here we have Little Andaman. So these islands are very important. So like I said, these are actually the mountain peaks of submarine mountains. So here the highest peaks, each island has a highest peak. So here the highest peak is known as Saddle Peak. In Middle Andaman, the highest peak is known as Mount Diavolo. And in South Andaman, it is Mount Koyog. Fine. And out of these three, the highest peak is Saddle Peak. So the highest peak of, if the question comes, which is the highest peak of Andaman and Nicobar? So the answer is Saddle Peak. Saddle Peak is the highest peak of Andaman, both Andaman and Nicobar Islands. Then here, likewise, we have Coco Channel over there. We have one more island, Landfall Island over here. Small island of Landfall. Then here, to the east of North Andaman, we have one island named is Narcondam. Narcondam Island. Okay, so Narcondam Island is an example of extinct volcano in India. So it is an extinct form of volcano. Extinct form of volcano is present on this island. In south of Narcondam Island, here, somewhat here in the Andaman Sea, to the east of Middle Andaman, we have Barren Island. We have Barren Island. So, to the east of this Middle Andaman, we have Barren Island, and Barren Island is the only active volcano. Of India. So Barren Island, only active volcano. Narcondam Island is the extinct form of volcano of India. Then the capital of Andaman and Nicobar is located here in the Middle Andaman. Capital is located here, Port Blair. Capital is Port Blair. Then in terms of area, if you consider, the largest island is Middle Andaman. Fine, largest island is Middle Andaman. Tallest mountain, Saddle Peak, is present in the North Andaman. Then between South Andaman and this is Little Andaman. This is Little Andaman. So we have one channel over here. Channel means a water body we have. So this channel name is Duncan Passage. Okay. It is known as Duncan. So Duncan Passage is present between the South Andaman and the Little Andaman. Duncan Passage. Then to the west of South Andaman, we have small islands over here, two North Sentinelese Islands. and South Sentinelese Islands. So these are the islands where the Sentinelese tribes are located, and Sentinelese tribe, you must be knowing, they are the tribes which are still isolated from millions of years. They have not contacted the our mainland India, and they don't know the this current civilization. So they are present in this North Sentinelese island, and currently the government of India has banned every person from entering this island. Okay, so this is a secluded island. We will see the image in the next slide. So North Sentinelese Islands and South Sentinelese Islands are present in the western direction of South Andaman. Then we will see about the Nicobar Islands. We will see about the Nicobar Islands. So in Nicobar, so Andaman and Nicobar, so they are separated by the 10-degree channel. They are separated by the 10-degree channel. They are separated by the 10-degree channel. So in the Nicobar, we have Car Nicobar, Little Nicobar, and Great Nicobar. Fine. So again, there are many islands. Likewise, we saw there are 572 islands, and it's not feasible to study each island. It's not necessary also, but we will just focus on the important islands. So here is Great Nicobar. And the southernmost point is called as Indira Point. Some may call this point as a Pygmalion Point. Southernmost point is Indira Point, Great Nicobar. This is Little Nicobar. And here, this is Car Nicobar. So you can see the 10-degree channel is actually present. 10-degree channel is present between Andaman and Nicobar. But if you see in detail, 10-degree channel is actually present between the islands of Little Andaman and Car Nicobar. That you should remember. So this is the in detail structure. We have Coco Channel, Landfall Islands, North Andaman, Middle Andaman, South Andaman, Little Andaman, and then we have Car Nicobar, Little Nicobar, and Great Nicobar. Then we have Great Channel and Sumatra, and the country of Indonesia starts from here. So this is the brief idea of the islands of the Andaman and Nicobar. Fine. And we also saw about the channels. We saw about the Duncan Passage, Great Channel, Coco Channel, 10-degree channel. So these 4 channels are very important. Then we talked about the barren island. So this is the diagram of barren island. This is a picture of barren island. So barren island is the India's only active volcano. Fine. Then we talked about the peaks as well. The Saddle Peak, North Andaman, Mount Diavolo, Middle Andaman, Mount Koyab, South Andaman, and Mount Thuilir is the highest peak of Great Nicobar. We just saw, right? Great Nicobar. So the highest peak of Great Nicobar is Mount Thuilir. Highest peak of Mount Thuilir is Great Nicobar. This is the highest peak of Great Nicobar. So this you must remember. They can ask you from the match the pair. They will give you Saddle Peak, Middle Andaman. So this likewise they can ask you, or they can ask you arrange the following in the north to south direction. Then another interesting information, as you can see over here, there are small islands called as Havelock Islands, Neil Islands, then Corbin's Cove, right? So Rootland Islands over here. So the main thing is currently the names of these islands have been changed. The Havelock Islands, it is known as Swaraj Islands. The Neil Islands, it is known as Shahid Islands. Neil Islands is known as Shahid Islands, and there is one more island called as Ross Island. It's not present over here, but you can remember Ross Islands. ROSS, Ross Islands is known as Bose Island. As you must be knowing, in the Second World War, our freedom fighter Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, he had captured this Andaman and Nicobar, and he had renamed this Andaman and Nicobar Islands as Shahid and Swaraj. So, considering that, we have renamed Ross Island as Bose Island, Havelock Islands as Swaraj Island, and Neil Island as Shahid Island. Fine. This is the information you can remember. Then, cellular jail is very famous. This is a picture of cellular jail in the Andaman and Nicobar. The freedom fighter Veer Savarkar was here. Then let's talk about the tribes. If you talk about the tribes of the Andaman and Nicobar, they can be studied in two parts. The first one, the first tribes are of African origin, or they can call as Negrito origin. Negrito, and the other group is Mongolite. The other group is Mongoloid. Fine. So we have tribes from the Andaman. We have Great Andamanis, Jarawas, Onges, and Sentinels. So Sentinels, Onges, Jarawas are great. So they are included in the scheduled tribes, and Sentinelese tribes, Onge tribes, and Jarawa, they are included in the PVTG tribes, particularly vulnerable tribal group. Fine. So this is the picture of the tribes. Fine. From the Andaman Islands. Then this is the picture of the Sentinelese. No, these are not Sentinels. Jarawa tribe, and this is the picture of Shopman tribes, the Nicobaris and the Shopmans. So there are two groups of tribes basically. The Negrito group, they are present in the Andaman, and the Mongolite groups are present in the Nicobar Islands. So Nicobaris and Shopmans are the example of Mongolite tribes. They are present in the Nicobar Islands. And Negrito, if you consider Great Andamanis, Jarawa, Onge, they are present in the Andaman Islands. So these are the picture of these tribes. So these tribes are again very important from the exam perspective. Now we will see about the protected areas. So entire Andaman and Nicobar, it is example of equatorial. They have equatorial tropical forest, tropical evergreen forest, you can say. So they have 9 national park. They have 96 wildlife sanctuary and 1 biosphere reserve. Okay. So that biosphere reserve is what? Which is this one? So the name is Great Nicobar. Great Nicobar Biosphere Reserve we have. And out of union territories, so they can ask you which union territory has the highest amount of national park. So the answer is Andaman and Nicobar Islands. Here we have 9 national parks. For example, we have Mahatma Gandhi National Park. Then we have Rani's Hansi National Park. We have North Button National Park, South Button National Park, Middle Button National Park. We have Saddle Peak National Park. So likewise, we have 9 national parks in Andaman and Nicobar. Then combiningly both, if you consider both state and union territories, so the highest amount of wildlife sanctuaries are present in the Andaman and Nicobar Union Territory. Here we have 96 wildlife sanctuaries. So they will not ask you the name. So just this fact you can remember. There are 96 wildlife sanctuary and 1 biosphere reserve. The Great Nicobar Biosphere Reserve is present in the Andaman and Nicobar Islands. Now, so this was all the geography of the Andaman and Nicobar. If you talk about the climate, we talked about climate also. It has a tropical kind of climate. The vegetation is tropical evergreen vegetation. Then if you see the demography of Andaman and Nicobar Islands, so the majority Bengali population is present in the Andaman and Nicobar. The reason being the Andaman and Nicobar comes under the administration of the Kolkata High Court. Fine. Then also, so likewise we saw the tribes over here, but the population of this tribe is very insignificant. The proportion to the population is very less. So the population of mainland India has migrated over here in the Andaman and Nicobar Islands, and the major occupations being the coconut, then the tourism. Fine. So this kind of activity, the economic activity is there in the Andaman and Nicobar. Now we will study about the Lecture-02 Islands. So the Lecture-02 Islands, the entire island group is built of coral islands. So they are coral in origin. There are 36 islands. In Andaman and Nicobar, we saw there were 572 islands total. So here 36 islands are there, and out of that 10 are inhabited only. And the Lecture-02 Islands can be divided into two groups: the Cananore Islands and the Amini Islands. Now we will see in detail about the islands of the Union Territory. Before that, it is you must be knowing, this is a very basic fact. It is Lecture-02 is the smallest Union Territory in terms of area. Then it is an example of archipelago, and it is formed of atolls and reefs. So what are atolls and reefs? So atolls and reef. So coral reef, you must be knowing that coral reefs are actually made up of coral reef. It is a symbiotic relationship between coral polyps and algae. So coral polyps are basically organisms. They are not able to produce their own foods. So the food is provided by algae, and in return, these coral polyps, they secrete one enzyme, and they make the shell, the calcium carbonate kind of shell they produce, and they give shelter to algae. So this kind of relationship is called as the symbiotic relationship, and that is present in the coral reef structure. So coral reef, they occupy only 0.1% of the area of the oceans, but they sustain almost 25% of the biodiversity of ocean. So like on land, we have a huge amount of biodiversity in the tropical forest. So likewise, we call coral reef as the tropical forest of the oceans. So coral reefs are, so it's not like that in the Andaman, they are entirely absent. In Andaman and Nicobar also, some of the islands are of coral origin, but here in Lecture-02, almost all the islands are the example of coral reefs. And one type of coral reef is atoll. Here what happens, there is a mountain formation over here. Coral, this is water. Fine. So coral will be formed over here, but after millions of years, this mountain will be eroded. So this mountain is eroded, and we have these corals surrounding this mountain peak. So lagoon will be formed over here. This is called as lagoon, and this type of coral reef is called as atoll. So atoll is basically a type of coral reef. Fine. So in Lecture-02, we have many atolls and many coral reefs. So we will see the position of Lecture-02. Lecture-02s are present from the Kochi. If you consider, they are almost present from the 200 to 400 kilometers from here, from mainland India. Then the southernmost island is Minicoy Island. So I will just draw a diagram. So this is the island nation of Maldives. So here we have 8-degree channel. 8-degree channel. So 8-degree channel separates Maldives and the Minicoy Island. Minicoy Island is the largest island of Lecture-02 archipelago. Then we have 9-degree channel. This is 9-degree channel. Then we have the islands of Lakshadweep. Again, these islands are divided into two parts by the 11-degree channel. 11-degree channel separates the Lakshadweep Islands into Cananor Islands and Amini Islands. Amini Islands. Fine. So, a nation of Maldives. Then we have 8-degree channel which separates Maldives and Minicoy. Then we have 9-degree channel which separates Minicoy and the main Lakshadweep Islands. So, and the main Lakshadweep Islands are separated from the 11-degree channel from the Cananor Islands and Amini. So, there are many islands over here. So, the capital of Lakshadweep is Kavaratti. So, we have islands like Kalpani Islands, then Android Islands, then Amini Islands we just talked, Agathi. Then on Agathi Island there is a airstrip of Lakshadweep. Then we have a Kavaratti Island over here. Fine. Then we have Piti Island where one bird sanctuary is present. Fine. This is the Agathi Island, the airport in the Lakshadweep Island. So let's talk about the demography. So Lakshadweep is the Muslim majority union territory. Then the population, according to the 2011 census, only 65,000 population resides in the. So this is highest literacy. If you consider the highest literacy, you know Kerala is having highest literacy in terms of state. But if the question comes, which union territory has the highest literacy according to the 2011 population? So the answer will be Lakshadweep Islands. So in Andaman we have Bengali speaking population. So here we have major Malayalam speaking population, but also Mahal language is there, which is generally spoken in the island nation of Maldives. So in Minicoy Islands, the Mahal speaking population can be found. Then we have Malayalam language dominating, and the entire indigenous population has been classified as the scheduled tribe. And there are no scheduled caste in the Lakshadweep Islands. And if you see the economy is based on the fishing, then coconut cultivation, coir twisting, and tourism. So these are 4 important occupations of the Lakshadweep Islands population. So you can see fishing, then tourism is happening in Lakshadweep Islands. Fine. So we completed the islands of India, the 2 parts of mainland islands, two main parts of the Indian subcontinent, that is Lakshadweep in the Arabian Sea, Andaman and Nicobar in the Bay of Bengal. Fine. So we saw in detail about the islands, we saw about their peaks, then we also talked about the protected areas, and we saw about its population. Then there are many islands in the coastal plains. While studying the coastal plains, we talked about the Wheeler Islands, Newmoor Islands, Sagar Island. Then there is Diu Island. So likewise, there are small islands also present in the vicinity of mainland India, and these are the 2 important oceanic islands of India. They are very important from the strategic point of view also. And both in Andaman and in Lakshadweep, we have a naval base in both the islands. They are very important from the strategic perspective, from the trade perspective. Okay, so today we have completed all the physiographic divisions from the first lecture to this lecture. This is the 13th lecture of ours. So we have completed entire Himalaya in 2 parts, Western Himalaya and Eastern Himalaya. There we completed all the mountain ranges, Himalayas, then rivers, then important peaks, important lakes. Then while studying the Western Himalayas, we had seen the river Indus, its tributaries, its origin, everything about it. While studying the Eastern Himalaya, we had talked about the Purvanchal and the types of Himalaya present in the Eastern Himalaya. Then we talked about the tribes, and in detail we talked about Brahmaputra. Then we studied the entire Northern Plains. We divided Northern Plains into Western Plains, Central Plains, and Eastern Plains. So while studying that, we talked about the river Ganga and its tributary. Then further southward, we came across the Peninsular Plateau. So there we divided Peninsular Plateau into 3 parts. First part was Central Highlands. So while dealing Central Highlands, we talked about river Yamuna, Narmada, Tapi, and the tributaries. We talked in detail about the hills, the plateaus of Central Highlands. We talked about the protected areas as well. Then further southward, we talked about the Deccan Plateau in detail. We studied the difference between Western Ghats and Eastern Ghats. We studied the very in detail about the hills present in the Western Ghats, hills present in the Eastern Ghats. Then we also saw about its peaks, rivers originating from Western Ghats and Eastern Ghats. We studied about the protected areas. We talked about the tribes present in these areas. Fine. Then we studied about the coastal plains. We divided coastal plains into two parts, Western coastal plains and Eastern coastal plains. We saw that Western coastal plains are the example of submergent kind of coast, and the Easterns are emergent kind of coast. Then we studied the small rivers from the state of Gujarat to West Bengal, Gujarat to Kerala, and from Tamil Nadu to West Bengal. We saw in detail about the rivers, the hills, the tourist destination, the lakes, then the reservoirs, the major dams we saw. Fine. Then and today we completed the island nations. We talked in detail about the islands and its economy. So from next lecture onwards, we will start with the world geography. We will cover, we will take one continent per lecture, like North America and Arctic region, then South America, then Australia and Antarctica, then Africa, then Europe. Then Asia is very important from our exam perspective. So I have divided Asia into 4 parts. So we will study West Asia in one lecture. Then Central Asia, we will study about Afghanistan, its border, the current issue of Afghanistan. Then we will study about East Asia, then Southeast Asia and South Asia in detail. And then after completing this world geography, we will again come to India. We will again, so till now what we have done, हमने सब पार्ट जो है जो अलग अलग देखे हैं कि हिमालय और उसके बारे में, हाईलैंड्स और इसके बारे में. Now we will take one topic. Suppose we will take the topic of forest. So we will see the entire forest of India. We will see their distribution. Then next we will take the topics of protected area. So in 2 lectures we will cover all the tiger reserves, all the biosphere reserves, all the Ramsar sites, all the World Heritage sites of India. So we will do that. Then in next lecture we will take the topic of rivers. So in rivers we will talk in detail about all the rivers of India. We will understand the basic concepts associated with rivers. Likewise, we will complete the topic of soils. So likewise, we will come again to the Indian geography. So the idea was studying Indian geography, then world geography, and again we will come to Indian geography. So see you in the next lecture, and we will start with the world geography. The first we will take Asia, and within Asia also we will take first West Asia, and then we will complete all the continents of the world. Thank you.